will share the screen. So first of all, thank you very much for this invitation, and thank you very much for being with you. I think everybody is with the camera disconnected, but I'm not seeing everybody. I'm only seeing four. Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you and to see your faces in this COVID time. It's okay. I would like to be in presence in physical presence in a webinar that would not be a webinar, that would be a presential congress, but these webinars are fine just to spread the message, I think. What am I going to talk? I'm going to talk, after all, about my experience on making this platform that led to the Águas do Porto, the water supply company of Porto, Portugal, to the network, to the world, to the WAMU-Net, to the world water museums from UNESCO. And I'm going to share with you the platform we are constructing here, and I think Sarah will have some time to debate in the final 15 minutes to debate.
Yes.
I think so. Yes. Okay. Yes. I will expect somebody makes some questions, because I would like this to be more than an exposition or exposition, more to be a debate in a certain time of my contribution. Okay. I'm going to share with you the platform. I'm sorry, it's in Portuguese. It's still only in Portuguese. It will be in English, not in Italian, but it's in English. But now it's only in Portuguese, but I'll try to explain what are we doing. So a little bit of historical context before sharing you the platform. What is the question here? We have the responsibility of conducting a program that reveals all the heritage in water supplies and water sewage in the city of Porto since the late 19th century, when some companies, a French company and a British company, just entered in our town and made possible to put the water supplies and the water sewage on the service of public domain, and finishing with the problems of plagues, of healthy plagues that were grassing in the middle of the 19th century and finally in the last years of the 19th century. So in 1881 it was made a contract between the municipality of Porto and Companhia General des Eaux, just to make possible this water supply program, and the buildings and all the net of the water supplies were built between 1881 and 1886. So that was the beginning of all this project, and it is the beginning of this heritage project, and so we are also trying to make an appliance to the memory of the world, because we have some documents, not only written documents, but also drawings, lots of plans, lots of construction plans, lots of photographs, and we must be aware that photographical art was in the beginnings of his actuation. Moreover, in these technical situations, let's say there was some work made by the school, by the university. It was not university; it was a technical school, a medical school, and some theses were made on the subject of the water supplies and the water plagues and all these problems remarking with related to water in the city. So I say, and my position and our position is to make clear that Porto is the city of waters. So it's the city of waters because of its territory, its landscape, has lots of rivers, lots of little rivers, and it has since the 17th century, including a beginning of a program of water supplies made in the time that Portugal was occupied by the Spanish kingdom, and they made a construction, 5 kilometers construction that today we are trying to repair and to make it public. So this platform has three components that are the archive and the museum and the buildings that were made since the 17th century till nowadays, till the 21st century. But we are centering our actuation in the transition between the 19th century and the 20th century, because we think that's the main that's where when everything happened. Let's say before that we had these water supplies projects, these water supplies facilities, but they were not public, they were private, and it was depending of water mines in private properties, and not a whole system that led to the public domain this problem. What was the problem in 1986 when the French company finished their work? They had the concession of the exploration and the buildings for a period of 99 years. So that was the big problem to the municipality, because it was not possible to make plans to the city with the property of an essential good in the hands of a private company, and the private company with the foreign capitals that didn't possibility the municipality just to plan the city and plan all its area, just giving their inhabitants the water supplies they needed. So there was a complex situation between the last years of the 19th century till the decade of 1920, more concretely to 1927, when the municipality took all the constructions of the Compagnie Générale des Eaux just to be in the public domain. In the middle, there was a problem that was the sewage problem. Porto, just like some other cities in Europe, was affected for a plague that was terrible, because it implied including military confinement in the town, and all the people everybody was just alarmed with this problem. And there was a medical physician that led this process just to conduct the municipality to build the sewage system in the town. What was the problem? Where here enters the water? The water enters because the technical solution that was adopted was not to use the rain waters to make the sewage run, but to use the company the company supplies waters to make it run. But the water was in the hands of another company that was private. So it made the process much more complex than it was if it was public domain. So the main work was, since the beginnings of the 20th century, when an international contest was launched, and the British company of Hughes and Lancaster just won it. And it was the beginning of the construction of the sewage system. But the great problem was the sewage system was built, but it had no water to function. So only in the decade of the 30s and the 40s, 1940, all the systems was possible just to put it on working just 40 years ago, after his construction. So the city was in a very huge problem from 1886 till 1942, when the two systems just got together, and the municipality got how could I say, the control of all this system. In heritage question, this is the main period just to study. There are some researchers, including me, researching this period, because it shows us the transition between nothing, between a city that where water was collected on fountains, on public fountains, but with no control, with no bacterial control, with no laboratorial control of the water, and it was a city that was very affected with plagues, with healthy plagues, and in the final of these 50 or 60 years, it was possible just to make it real, to make it possible to make the municipality to control this. Why I was saying this is important in an heritage question, because this is the beginning of a new era. This is the beginning of a contemporary era, and so that's the aim of our, including of our museum, of our appliance to the memory of the world. Now we are conducting a process of to get the recognition of also of UNESCO about these documents. They are unique in Portugal, and they show us how can a city, with the help of foreigner capital and foreigner enterprises, just to make possible to put the techniques and the scientific knowledge in the order of the day, just to and there's lots of heritage and buildings that remain from those times, and we are now just mapping them and make it possible, including with visitors and public visitors, just to show, because we think the question is the only way to save to make the safeguard of this I think iconical heritage buildings and iconical heritage documents, is to make them public, to put them in the public domain. So we created a platform, a digital platform, where that is called the Parque Patrimonial das Águas, Water Patrimonial of Waters, and that's where we are working now, just making a great effort of digitalization and photographing and mapping in the city, these buildings, these water buildings, and make the transference from analogical system to digital system in those those documents and to make them public. This platform I'm going to show you, I'm going to share with you my screen, is able not just only to put, it is in construction now, to put all the catalog of our documents and the museum archival and museum pieces we've got here in this in our enterprise, but also to make the safeguard of all the constructions that are built in Porto. So I'm going to share with you, if I can find it. So I'm going to share with you this. No, it's not it's a few photographs of what I'm talking about. This is one, I think everybody can see it. Sarah, it's able to see.
Yes,
This
we can
is
see it.
this is the 17th century aqueduct that was built in 1614, and we are now trying to make it possible to make it visible to the public. So this is the oldest visit. These are the oldest building we are working now. So this is where the street gets to this aqueduct, and there's it's 5 kilometers aqueduct just behind and behalf the subsoil, and this is the water we want to be available just to people to see, because it's clear water, it's mine water, and it's very good. So these are the problems that were made just like this tube. This just were put here in the 19th century and in the 20th century, and they must be cleaned. So to this gallery to be available, to be seen as it was built in the 17th century. This is a very impressive, I think, construction, because it was built on stone. And it has, as you see in these walls, it was directly built on the stones, and this is a unique heritage we've got here in Porto that has 5 kilometers of distance. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to try to share with you the platform. Just wait a moment, just to wait. Because I'm trying just to, yes, it's here. Okay, now I can go and it's here. Okay, this is the platform. This is Porto Water City, and I'm going to translate into English. Parque Patrimonial das Águas, Heritage Park of Waters, the water park, and this is the platform of information and interpretation of heritage. So in this water park, this is the water park of waters. We've got here all the concepts that are behind this question and this work, and as I say it, the museums and the archives and the parks, the heritage parks, are a vehicle of protection of the heritage, of patrimony, of heritage, material and immaterial, and all the diversity, cultural diversity and natural, that leads as a role of great relevance in the promotion of the economy local. So This was recognized by the Global Network of Water Museums in January of 2021, and we hope the preservation of a singular heritage associated to the history of 4 centuries of infrastructuration, urban infrastructuration in the field of water supplies and of water mine and the sewages in the fields of heritage, ambient, territory, and infrastructure and sustainability that contributes to the affirmation of Porto as the city of waters. In this time, we hope this recognized will be also the backyard of the creation of new publics because here we are trying to lead some courses also and some connections with Porto University, just with the signature I've talked to Sarah of it also. It's about invisibilities, and we think these water problems are invisibilities in the city. They are the invisibilities that make possible all the urban tissue just to get built, and there's a whole world of water constructions under the archaeological sites. I think they are relevant to the understanding of the whole process of creation of urbanity and the urban being. Considering the value of this park, of its heritage park, this is a space that is not only a museum and not only an archive. The collections or documents found, but also an heritage whole conjunct association that make it possible just to put together and the documental and the objectual things with analogical and digital things. So the natural built as the natural parks and the archaeological sites and all these constructions only are possible in our way of seeing it, just because there are lots of documents that are being treated. So we are just leading this process of rehabilitation of Porto as a city of waters, just based on archival documents. So not in histories that somebody told us it was like that, but in facts, and it's mainly in digit in analogical archive documents. So with this platform, and we can see this is the park. The park is the city. So this is the city of Porto, and if you click on it, there are some fountains, some cisterns, some fountains, and some reservoirs, and all this is all this is all the city of Porto, and we can get through this map to this heritage and signaling and putting information just when we get to, for instance, I'll go to one of it. We are constructing, and there will be some photos here just to see. Okay, so backing to the gallery of this heritage park, we've got this distributed between archive, museum, and building. And in archive, we've got some proofs here. Here we can show and they are, as I said, the beginning of all this investigation, all these works. These are the 1881 photographs of the first buildings. They are originals, digitalized of those buildings that were made here in Porto, just to bring the water to the city. And for instance, this is also a fountain, a monumental fountain that was built in 1886, and it is a very iconical fountain, because it's a system that makes the water supplies make possible since the final years of the 19th century. But today it's a monumental fountain with a mechanism that slows the water, just not because of Porto, as I think all you know, it's not a plain city. It's a city with lots of hills, and the gravitational system of water supplies make it possible. And some mechanisms like this are essential just to determine this question of entering the house, in the houses, in the private houses, with this water. And there are some fountains that are in the streets and in private, including in private properties, and we are trying just to map them and to make them function as a system, as a network of. So these are some examples you've got here in public space. For instance, this is in public space. This is a monumental fountain. We are using just an example of, for instance, this in a public space, and this is a very interesting question, because when we are working on this heritage, we are also making that public space can be used by everybody, and all the equipment related to water are possible just to be seen. This is some examples of it in public space. This is a very old fountain that is in the center of Porto, in the historical center of Porto, and we can see it. So these are these are photos that are in our archive since the fountains of the 19th century to the fountains of now. This is a situation of that fountain I told you, that was built in 1886 in nowadays, and all these fountains. Porto is a city of fountains, of little fountains that make us possible that we can preserve this town as a city of water. So these are some examples. I'm going to show you another version of this problem, that is the museum. And in the museum, as we are making a work, we are trying to translate to the museum the working way of the working materials since the latest decades of the 19th century, and there are some materials that were they were given to us directly from the ancient workers, and there are some documents there that have the value of heritage museum, and some photographs. We've got a huge background with this, made with this photo. This is, for instance, this is a photo of one water ark that is not. We can only say it was there because of the photographs. So we are just rebuilding this system with these photographs we have in our archive, and that's the I think that's the real, and the real question here is how to lead this process of rehabilitation of all these systems, just conducting it with archival and museum This, for instance, these are photographs in the same place I showed of those photographs I've got in Facebook of that aqueduct of the 19th century, of the 17th century. But these photographs are old photographs that are in our archive since the first years of the 20th century. So we have all them here. And this is a very good archive because also we can see by the photographs and the maps, but mainly by the photographs, we can see a city there we can see no more. So using the theme of water, the water theme, we can rebuild the city of 100 years ago just using this material, this iconographical material, just to rebuild our image of the city as it was. These are some pieces are in our museum and in our archaeological sites in here that are related to the work in water work, for instance. And the final one is the buildings. And in the buildings, we think these constructions we are working now that are 50 or 55 of these wash basins in the town. They are now abandoned, but in their times, for instance, this is a photograph of the 1950, I think, with all the women, because it was equipment made for the women, not for the men. The men were just controlling their work with police guards, mainly in the bottom of these wash basins. And this is, I think, this is a very important thing just to preserve in our cities. So we are talking about the abandoned city, and the abandoned city has the wash basins as a center of sociability and relationships between people. So we are thinking now of making a program of rehabilitation of these sites, just to make clear the memory of these sites and to put it on a network, on a cultural network that make possible just another functions to be made on them. For instance, for some performance, some theaters, some music concerts, but also preserving the memories, their memories. These are photographs from nowadays of these water structures. We think they are as the aqueducts, the main structures in this all water system supply that is possible just to look nowadays. So I don't want to bother you with all this, because we have a lot of photographs of this in this platform, just to make it visible. And also just to finalize, just to end, because I've got a few minutes just to end. This is the water park. This is the water park, and this was the beginning of this park. This is our corporation, our enterprise here in the middle, and this is a garden. This is a garden that has lots of fountains on them. They were put here since the 1930s to the 1960s decade, just to make possible that the water supplies network just went to the houses, to the private houses, and the people just don't continue to go to the water fountains to get the water to their homes. And they are here in this garden. This is an historical garden. This is a romantical garden with three, I think, three components: the buildings, all those fountains. We can see here. We can click and see the fountains. We are here, and the arcs. And we can see also in this heritage, we have a heritage of a garden, an old garden with all those tree species that are here. And also the other part of this heritage is the animal heritage. Or let's say we've got here the conjunction between what we think it's important as a small space just to where the museum is. The museum is in this space. The museum, the basis of the museum is in this space, and we've got an open air museum in this park, in this natural park in the middle of Porto, just nearby the River Douro. And finally, wait. These are some of what I was telling you: the animals of the park, the trees of the park. You've got included some trees, some centennial trees that are now classified in this park, and the buildings of the park. And finally, about the platform of information and interpretation of the heritage. This is where the archive is. This is where the relationship between the archive and the museum is now being made, and is also where we make all the work of make possible that also the archive, the building, and the museum makes one corp together. And with this, we are trying to make some joints with the university, as I said, but also with private investigation, private investigator researchers. Then they look for us, and they say, oh well, I've got a problem. I have a problem to solve. I don't know from where that fountain came, where does that river went to the city, and how these documents can be related. So they come here to this platform. This is a platform, as I said, as an archive and museum platform that just sustains all the heritage park of Porto. So this is the beginning of all the process. We can see this is the museum, the archive, and the buildings that are in town, and it feeds all the water parks and all the water park and the heritage patrimonial heritage of park of the waters. And in this, we've got a catalog. And from this catalog, we can seek the documents. We can seek it here or here, or just going through and see all we've got here in this platform, just from putting here some words, some keywords, and to make possible this research. So I'm going back only to the beginning. No, to the okay, and in the collaborations here, we have some guided tours. We've got a landscape lab, and we've got this relationship with researchers. And last year we had some researchers working with us, and their works will be in this platform too, just to make it possible that other other researchers can explore the theme. The landscape lab is a lab that works with children and make in educational program and make it possible just to study not only the water and the microorganisms that are in the water, but the microorganisms that are in the tree in the park. And the guided tours are the way we say that make it possible just to for instance, to make people just to get know the park and this singularity, for instance. And in this park, we can make the guided tours and telling some of the history. For instance, I'm going to try to see him to lead here to a fountain that is very iconical. I'm not getting there, but for instance, this fountain, for instance, it was in the middle of the city of Porto, and now it's here. It's here, and it has its history. And using this fountain, we can tell something about the history of the town. So we can tell something about the history of the site where it was built. And finally, we have the contacts here, when everybody can contact us, including talking with us and trying to ask for a guided tours, to ask to make ask for the documentation, heritage documentation, or only asking some information and leaving us a message just how could they cooperate with us, or just get to a document or a museum object, or just to make a guided tour to these installations and in the middle of the town that are the aim of everything I was talking here, because there are the relationship, a thin relationship between the documents of archival documents and Porto Water City. So we can say Porto is the city of waters because of this, because in the time lapse of 150 years, it was making it has been possible just by the transformations in the water sector and the transformation in all these structures of joining these heritage documents, just to get to the 21st century with all these informations that make it possible just as to get know how it works in the past, how it worked in the 20th century, how it can work in the 21st century. So lots of questions are possible just to equate this on this problem, because this is a structure that works in, it's not a dead archive. It's not an institution that has no operation. This is an operative institution. This is an enterprise that today is working. It's the water supplies company in Porto, and it has a great history and a large history just to tell, and it's all over the